Kuzampo and welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Srinder Magalsan. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King grants audience to 22nd batch of Desu trainees. Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the International Day of People Living with Disabilities in the capital. And central bank officials to leave for India next week to discuss the rupee shortage issue. His Majesty the King granted an audience to the volunteers attending the 22nd batch Desu training program on Thursday. The program is underway at the Tenchuling Military Training Center in Wangdiphoda.
The volunteers of the 22nd batch Desu program are mainly employed in the tourism and hospitality sector. Since 2011, Desubs in their orange uniforms have become an integral part of all national events, disasters or rescue efforts and are icons of volunteerism in the country.
Our country is in a Himalayan zone. It's very susceptible to natural calamities. So in one way or another, like what we learn from here, we could help to our future so that our future could be well protected. The one role from me could be imparted to many. It could be just like a chain of event.
Seeing all those orange uniforms flooding into places where there were natural calamities and where places of danger, volunteering as a sense of volunteerism, I immediately had that feeling that I needed to do something for my country as well. So that's why I joined the Desu program.
The 125 volunteers began training on 23rd November and will complete this Saturday. With the present batch, the total number of Desubs in the country will become 2,641. The integrated training program was instituted under the command of His Majesty the King to be a value-based personal development program with the main objective to encourage all citizens to be active in the greater role of nation building. Tandon Finso for BBS News.
Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the 2016 International Day of People Living with Disabilities in the capital on Saturday last week. Her Majesty the Gyaltsen is the patron of Ability Bhutan Society.
The day is observed to support the persons with disabilities who are vulnerable to discrimination at all aspects of life. It is also for those who face everyday challenges in accessing health, education and equal employment opportunities and participation. As part of the day, Her Majesty the Gyaltsen launched the educational resource on communicating with hearing impaired children. Wongsel Institute in Paro came up with the educational resource. Her Majesty also interacted with the persons with disabilities.
Disability is a growing public health concern.
According to Health Minister Tandin Wangchuk, disability is a growing public health concern globally. In Bhutan, he said the prevalence of disability is 3.4% of the total population as per the Population and Housing Census 2005. Hearing impairment is the highest disability, followed by visual impairment. Ability Bhutan Society, who looks after the disabled society in the country, has plans to build an intervention and resource center in Thimphu and 5 regional offices to reach out to more persons living with disabilities. Over 30 people living with disabilities attended the event. For Pasa, Sonomongdi, BPS News.
The government clarified ratifying the Bhutan, Bangladesh, India and Nepal motor vehicles agreement doesn't mean there will be increased number of vehicles entering Bhutan. Rather, the government said it will be an opportunity to regulate traffic. The government said people have misunderstood the Bhutan, Bangladesh, India and Nepal motor vehicles agreement. People, especially the truckers and the taxi drivers, are worried if the agreement comes through, it would hamper their business.
Pshi gyakable omi nungkur disu gabedigi beru nona gyakabna onjimle dinagi mingom disu total benida di chongi la disu be matubbe tebe ngachigi genik nalura debe khedigi yejuni genik nalu chenda kegop dopchi bawachin ngachi jungi khatole da pshi gyakable omi nungkur disu di sanchamle gedigi om matub jonigi debe ngachigi phidigi yejuni debe jodabachin 총기 고갑 자니 매바 총기 고갑디 행게 탭베 데베 조춥니기 해밥지 동지제 주니
마치긴 남큐기 때 지땡기 때 코체드스루 때 바탭다 마탭기 때 차저디 투차저디 때 시고 미스슈니라 디 마치기 캐패시티 마치기 람기 캐패시티 디 인프라스트럭처 캐패시티 맵좀 집에 어징 마치기 농코레 디다 디기 베수미기 때 농코르디 잠징 같이 나나타니 야지만 마치기 마바라 때다도 냐갑징 같이 땀마도 유 때 디베닝 같이 나날 메탄세 디베 때 마바라 메탄세 슈니라 겐진날루 마치 베부다 때 방글라데시 개캅니다 치카디 때 마치기 순데 난고미 파피 베고베 때 마치 아네베 타체사이서 슈니 자가다 치카보와친 다투 람루치유라 람루루 네디기베 때 네니 마토 젠탭 가네 때 베마초베 겐진나 데베 케디 유스 슈니 아니 베올레 텐디기베 겐제두고 센타키 겐진니야 다투가기 슈도즘베 때 마치기 센타키도 바친 때 다투기 네땅 월레 락디 젠카네 베고미라.
The government see a lot of opportunities if the agreement is ratified.
비빈 레텐디기베 당아체 록슈기 당아체 방글라데시 때 치카 때 베부데 치카 때 록슈기 때 라베수니메 세슈니 나체르기 록미파 때 피송 탑수니메 니 송델기 고갑 유 세슈니 다 아니숨기 고갑디 당아체 비빈 날로 짜마 마토바친 때 라지기베 튠남무케디 톱세워진 때 톱스바친 남선이 레시미메 세슈니 가디치베 비빈 디넬로 나체기 짜마 마토발레 텐디기베 다 비빈디라 참에 야서바친 고갑디 자미메 세슈니.
The National Assembly ratified the agreement in June this year. However, the National Council chose not to. The National Assembly discussed on the 15 points objected by the National Council, such as lack of consultations with the stakeholders and impact study. It also pointed out that it was driven by external agency and there was risk of unregulated vehicles and passengers. The agreement will now be submitted to His Majesty the King for royal assent. Sringda Magalton, BBS News. Police will extensively discuss on selling of SIM cards with the mobile service providers in the country. During the Superintendent of Police conference, it was pointed there are some mobile numbers with no details of ownership registered with the service providers.
To address the issue, police decided to request the mobile service providers for deactivation of unidentified SIM cards. This, they said, is for security reasons.
도토기 발리기 멤베 세슈니 디나루 고와 다트디세 마투투베 미세드스루 퓨디두 인디베사치루라 다 나제라이스 주친 모바일 SIM card.
The issue is not new. People were alerted many times, but some of them had already bought many SIM cards before our announcement. They submit citizenship identity cards belonging to someone else and acquire SIM cards. The issue still exists. People don't think about national security and buy SIM cards and distribute to others. This in turn creates problems.
게용기 숭좁다 디소 노선 마땅바베 심카츠 템테칼레파 랑기미가 렌바베베 차로 드라마도 디스룹 진디기베 테강일 텐디기베.
The 8-day conference held in the capital also saw discussions on issues between Office of the Attorney General and police. Police said they face problems in prosecuting cases due to shortage of manpower at the OAG. The superintendents of police also raised the issue of financial constraint, which hampers in combating crimes. During the closing ceremony today, the Chief of Police, Colonel Chimedoji, said the conference for non-commissioned officers will also be held for the first time early next year. Tamchuzam, BBS News.
Limited stock of 100 rupee notes forced people to rush at the central bank in Thimphu. But not everyone is lucky. The central bank gives the rupee notes to only 50 individuals in a day. One step at a time. The queue is long, but the wait is not always worthwhile. People have to take their chances on lucky dips to get rupee notes. The central bank gives only 5,000 rupees to an individual in a month as an interim measure, but many return disappointed. Most of them are going on a pilgrimage to India, and the worst part is rupee notes are available only at the central bank at the moment.
I came all the way from Trongsa to get Indian rupee, and it has been my fourth attempt today, yet I failed. I'm going on a pilgrimage and even booked my ticket. It's almost time to leave, but couldn't exchange my money.
It's been almost a week, but I couldn't exchange my 5,000 item. It would be really convenient if instead of 50, 100 people are given the chance. Those staying in Thimphu can bring in their family members to increase the chance of getting rupees. But for me, I'm the only one, so it's very disheartening.
We have to reserve a taxi to come early in the morning. It costs about 800 ngötum, and after so many hurdles, we come here and only 50 forms are given through lucky dips. It's very discouraging.
Officials from the Royal Monetary Authority said 100 rupee note stock is very critical and it has to be rationed out daily. They are in constant touch with the Reserve Bank of India for fresh supply of rupee notes following the demonetization of the 500 and 1000 rupee notes in India last month. Sringda Magalson, BBS News. A team from the central bank will leave for India next week to discuss on the issue of rupee shortage in the country. They will meet with the governor of the Reserve Bank of India and request for fresh supply of Indian rupee notes at the earliest. People still continue to visit the central bank every day to get rupees, putting pressure on the limited stock of 100 rupee notes.
To take this measure a step a little more forward, now we have decided to send a delegation to Reserve Bank of India led by a Deputy Governor and then meet the Governor of Reserve Bank of India personally and then submit that our weekly need of Indian rupee cash is around 250 million. In the event if this 250 million is not been met through rupees 100, then we are now requesting a combination of rupees 100 and new high Indian rupee denomination.
Though the country has the highest rupee reserves maintained so far, demonetization is affecting the service.
In the last 10-15 years, I think this is the first time that the country has built an Indian rupee reserve of 30 billion. So it gives a lot of confidence that that there's enough Indian rupee reserves to provide to the public. Nevertheless, now because of the demonetization of high denomination in India, now we're having a problem with the shortage of the Indian rupee, 100 rupees notes. So from that perspective now, it's very difficult for us to resolve this issue at home because we don't print these Indian rupee notes at home. It's being printed in India and we have to entirely rely on the supply from the Reserve Bank of India.
So far, the central bank has disbursed 100 rupee notes amounting to 35 million and collected around 1.68 billion rupees since the demonetization of 500 and 1000 rupee notes last month. Sringda Magalson, BBS News. Residents of Mongar town want the fuel station to be relocated away from the town. The present fuel station is located within the town area. Town residents have requested the Dzongkhag administration for the relocation following the recent fire incident.
Following the fire incident in August this year, Mongar town residents say they now feel unsafe with a fuel station near the town. The fire incident took place few meters away from the fuel station. Most people therefore evacuated their homes fearing explosion from the fuel station if it catches on fire. Town residents have submitted a letter to the Dzongkhag administration 2 months ago requesting to relocate the fuel station.
Making sure the law,
I was one of the victims of recent fire incident. Last time, most people were engaged in controlling the fire towards the fuel station. If we had not controlled the fire, whole Mongar town would have been razed. We therefore focused more in controlling the fire from spreading towards the fuel station.
Only after the recent fire incident in the town, people realized and shared their concern of the fuel depot near the town. If the fuel station catches fire, the whole town will be on fire. So we met and submitted a letter to the Dzongkhag to find possibilities to relocate the present fuel station.
The Bhutan Oil Distributors branch manager in Mongar agrees that the fuel station poses risk to the town in case of a fire disaster. But he said they have not received any official letter regarding the relocation request made by the people.
Since our fuel station is near the town area, we are also worried about people's safety. So if it can be relocated, it will be safe for the residents of the town and convenient for us as well.
The Dzongkhag administration is currently looking for a suitable place to relocate the fuel station as requested by the town residents. For Sonam Darge in Mongar, Pemanamge, BBS News.
Bhutan's first trial marketing for eggs proved successful. Agriculture Minister said the production has been increasing in the last 4 years, enabling the country to export 800 trays of eggs to India last week. The minister said an egg fetched 8 newton, 5 newton more than the local eggs in Kolkata.
Like in 2012, the egg production was 47 million per annum. Then in 2013, it was 63 million. In 2014, it decreased to 58 lakh. But in 2015, it has increased to 69 million because the market is quite huge in Calcutta. So we thought the first attempt is to have a market in Calcutta. And moreover, we have a state official, actually who is a marketing official with the Consular General, Consulate Tashigang. So it's easy for us to do the marketing there. There are also people who are willing to pay for products which are coming from Bhutan. We are yet to send more eggs and see the future prospect. This time we got around 8 per egg.
In an attempt to promote physical activities at the workplace, Health Ministry started aerobic classes for their employees. According to health officials, physical inactivity is the leading cause for increasing trend of non-communicable diseases in the country.
Aerobic is an exercise that stimulates and strengthens heart rates and breathing rates, thereby improving the body's utilization of oxygen. Health officials said aerobic exercises can help prevent or reduce the chance of developing non-communicable diseases like cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases and osteoporosis.
We need to promote because we are more or less following a very sedentary kind of lifestyle which is resulting in so many kinds of diseases. So through such initiatives, we hope that in the future many organizations will follow our steps and join in promoting physical activity within their organizations. So in doing so, all those participants who are taking part in this aerobic exercise will firstly benefit themselves. Then in their turn, they will also go and promote physical activities within their families, within their communities, and the country as a whole will be very healthy.
Obesity, cholesterol level, blood pressure, anything like product control based over the exercise.
Employees welcomed the idea.
I think from my personal point of view, the aerobic dance, as any other dance, is really going to be very, very healthy and helpful to every individual because it can keep you, fit, physically fit, so that you can also be able to avoid certain types of non-communicable diseases which are rising every day.
Aerobics is good for health. It is very relaxing, especially after a tiring day. And today we did it for about 25 minutes after office and was energizing. Aerobics will be helpful in losing the extra fat from our body because of the workout and will also help us stay active throughout the day.
Aerobic classes are open to employees from other agencies as well. Poop Game for BBS News.
Currently, Tashigang is the only district in the country without proper taxi or bus services. People there say it only adds to the remoteness the district has been long associated with.
Most people travelling from Tashigang to other parts of the country have to wait for days to hitch a ride in private vehicles. Lack of proper public transport service, according to the people, holds them back from travelling for vacation, pilgrimage or other purposes.
Mubata hemmo beochin den tongsa bumdang basu ni digi dem nalem te lamya shar jo telen tigande lamya de kangen min digi te base yula
karchungudi ro mi bom yushim tende anigi te ka minumela.
The problem started after the discontinuation of Shemgang Gelifu daily bus service in 2013. The service was withdrawn after the owner suffered loss due to limited travellers. Lack of public transport system has also affected farmers in taking their farm produce to the nearby markets.
Lame same bus mashom timpo lame same ane kido na di den ane bachi amana mi de denta gaji de tene na ngachi na thagol ken thagol de gaji be na mashela
ngachi jemga zongkhan nala phidu chi nang su bachin nami same kadin chini me da ngachi gi da ngaragi samjar chi juwachin la ngachi jungi khatule bero yang tinalo danam dang de ngaragi khatule mapler mathong si jugela
lok thu disu chenju joshindale ego joge siroya gari mi yan taxi mi bus mi Tashigang reserve da joge si on tirumi bevegali dikangel bombera yuisi junivela.
So far, no one has come forward to start a bus service according to Road Safety and Transport Authority officials. In the meantime, easing the problem to some extent, the Bulli to Gelifu bus service travels twice a week through Shemgang. The RSTA and Dzongkhag administration, in collaboration with the bus service provider, arranged the temporary measure. For Pema Samrup in Shemgang, Sonamongdi, BBS News.
Of the 29 Tashigomang collected from temples across the country, the one believed to be the first Tashigomang built by Zobalib in 1637 is the most significant among the ongoing Tashigomang exhibition in Thimphu. The exhibition, which began last week, currently has 16 Tashigomangs on public display.
With over 700 doors and named as Zangdoperi or the paradise of Padmasambhava, this Tashigoma is believed to be the oldest of all. Oral history and mythical narrative accounts that Shabdung summoned Zo believed and instructed him to build a Tashigoma resembling Zangdoperi. What's more significant about the old Tashigoma is that Shabdung personally presided over the consecration ceremony.
This Tashigomang is very important because it's believed to be the very first Tashigomang. When Shabdung Namgyal was building Punakha, this Tashigomang was also built during that time. And this Tashigomang was built to ensure the successful completion of the zong.
Tashigoma, as their name and meaning suggest, were used as a means to confer the Buddhist teachings on occasions of public gathering, especially in remote areas. The newly constructed Tashigoma and the Tashigoma with the highest number of doors are also on display. For some of the visitors, it is their lifetime opportunity to view these rare artifacts.
I felt very grateful because it's not every day you get to see these religious things and religious relics, and these things are very unique, and I'm sure I won't be able to see these things in my country.
It was certainly important for me to come and view all of these things, but I would think it's important for anybody, including all of the Bhutanese and all of the visitors, to come and see this, because this is just an amazing exhibit that will probably never be replicated again. It's quite an incredible collection. The beauty and the complexity of each of these relics is amazing, and people should really come and almost study them. They're quite wonderful.
The oldest Tashigoma was brought from Tashigang for the exhibition. From mid of this month, another 13 Tashigoma, which are currently under restoration, will replace the current Tashigoma, which are on display. Over 2,000 visitors came to view the relics at the Royal Textile Academy, located below the Chubashu traffic roundabout. This is Sonam Choden for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.